Chamber Chat. My name is Kirstie Smith and I'm the Communications Director at the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce. Since 1917, the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce has been the voice for business in the region. Each business day, your chamber assists small businesses and major industries with issues that affect their ability to grow and thrive. We encourage all businesses in the region to join the chamber and to make the most of their chamber membership. For more information about membership into the chamber, please visit our website at joplincc.com or give us a call at 417-624-4150. Today on Chamber Chat, I'm visiting with Jake Heisten with the Young Professionals Network. We're going to talk a little bit about political awareness. Welcome, Jake.
Thank you, Kirstie.
Glad to have you here today.
It's good to be here today.
Yeah. So today I thought we would talk about a couple of different things. The first thing I want to focus on is Eggs and Issues. That's a program that's offered by lots of area chambers, 4 to be exact, that we do during this time of year. So why don't you give us a little overview about what Eggs and Issues is?
Certainly. The Eggs and Issues Legislative Forum is sponsored by there's 4 individual forums. Joplin Chamber, the Carthage Chamber, the Webb City Chamber, and the Neosho Chamber all host their own Eggs and Issues Legislative Forum events. They take place typically February, March, April, and May of each year. And that is done in accordance with the state legislative session in Jefferson City. They're in session from January through middle of May, usually. And it's an opportunity for these legislators to be able to address chamber membership about issues that directly affect them. It's grown in popularity over recent years. It used to actually be a breakfast event, and they've changed it to a brunch style format. We found that it's better suited to the legislators as they get home late on Thursday evenings, and if they don't have to be somewhere at 7 a.m. the next morning, it's a little more conducive to their schedules, and they've had a very positive. We've gained a lot of positive feedback over that change of the years, and actually attendance has been increasing as the years go by.
And so all of our local legislators attend, or which legislators do we usually see at these events?
We typically will see 7 of our state legislators. Typically we'll see Mike Kelly, Tom Flanagan, Charlie Davis, Bill White, Bill Lant, Bill Rybolt, and State Senator Ron Richard. They represent Jasper and Newton and Dade counties and even McDonald County in the Joplin metro area. So in each of those legislators focus on different issues. Obviously the priorities of Southwest Missouri are number 1 with all of them, but they each have different areas of focus that they focus on during the legislative session. For example, Charlie Davis is the chairman of the Veterans Committee. Bill Rybolt is chairman of the House Agriculture Committee. Tom Flanagan is chairman of the House Budget Committee, a very powerful and influential position. State Senator Ron Richard is the Senate Majority Floor Leader. That carries a lot of clout with that position, and it puts Southwest Missouri in a very good position for any legislative priorities they may have. And I'll also say that Bill Lant of Pineville chairs the Workforce Development Committee, and as we all know, the Joplin workforce is one to be reckoned with, and so he has our best interest at heart when he's up in Jefferson City legislating.
Right. Our local guys, our local folks are definitely, it's great to have this sort of access to them, isn't it? Just
Certainly.
To be able to go up to them and shake their hand and visit with them a little bit and share my personal business issue with my representative.
Certainly, and I know that all of our legislators welcome that opportunity. They want to hear from folks back home. Each state representative represents about 35,000 people, I believe, and so they don't get an opportunity to visit with every single one of them, and they're very busy January through May being in Jefferson City 4 days out of the week, so this gives them an opportunity to get back home, and it gives chamber membership the opportunity to be in front of them and to ask them, hey, I heard about this bill. What is this going to do? Is this gaining any traction? Do we need to worry about this? Would it be helpful if we signed on in support of this or came up and testified in favor or in opposition to this bill? And then also to ask them specifically, what do you see coming down the pipe?
Right.
This legislative session? What is going to be of interest to us here in your opinion? And that way, it gives chamber membership and individuals the opportunity to speak directly to their legislators. You know, in today's world, we have so many methods of communication, and typically everyone is involved in some sort of social media. You know, all the legislators have email. We all have phones and fax, and still even some written correspondence comes in. But this is a direct interaction with your legislators, and the face-to-face time, typically there's no real substitute for that.
Right, right. And this is an important program that the Chamber has been offering for a long time, and it's very nice that we share this event with our other local chambers so we can have 4 sessions. So if you miss one of them, you can attend a different one. But I've been to several, and a lot of times the issues change in between one brunch to the next brunch.
Yes, they will. Government is sort of a moving needle, if you will, from the beginning of the session to the end of the session. There may be a few bills that are introduced every year that do not change the legislative process, but the majority of bills and issues change from January to May. And to that extent, even new issues pop up halfway through that need to be dealt with. You know, the budget bills, for example, get introduced and go through the House and then go through the Senate, and then there's a conference committee where they iron out their differences, and those priorities can change. Mm-hmm. So it's good that we get these monthly updates to see what issues are coming up, and then to track that through those 4 months, because what they talk about in January, they may not talk about that issue in the exact same way in, say, March, because it may have changed. It may not be in the House or in the Senate anymore. It could be in the other chamber. So then that gives those elected officials the opportunity to talk about the progression of that issue as we move forward. And towards the end of session, that's when everything everything really starts to move, and it becomes very fast and furious. And so the opportunity to address them once a month, I think, is truly beneficial to chamber membership.
So what would you say to my viewers that are going, oh, I don't like politics, I don't want to hear about this, I'm changing the channel?
Well, what I would say is awareness of this process could greatly benefit your business and you personally. As I mentioned before, with all the methods of communication out there in the 24-hour news cycle and social media and so many different outlets with so much information available, it can be comforting to go directly to the source, because there is so much out there, and things can change from one person to the next. So by going directly to these legislators, you can hear the full story. You can hear the real story. For instance, you could go up to one of them and say, "Hey, I heard this about this bill. Is this right? I heard this about this issue. Is that right?" And they'll either confirm or write the story at that point. And so folks tend to get burnt out on the political process because they see all of this on the news, and it just seems like fighting in politics. And a lot of times you find when you get to the real source, you find that, well, something's been spun a completely different way, and it's not exactly true. So that's why I feel it's good to get in front of your legislators and to ask them these questions and to visit with them about, well, I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that. What's your opinion? You're the one who's there. You're in the weeds of it. You're dealing with the nuts and bolts. Tell me how this is going to work. So there's multiple ways that our legislators and this process can positively impact business and chamber membership. For example, the state budget process. There are state tax dollars that flow into businesses here in Southwest Missouri. So, Tom Flanagan is very well aware of that. As far as economic development is concerned, there are multiple proposals out there on any given year and how it may directly impact the Joplin community and the metropolitan area. So by talking to these gentlemen on a regular basis and getting their opinion on how things are going to go, is a good thing. That face time with these gentlemen can directly affect how you go about doing your business. And they want to hear. They don't always want to hear the bad. They want to hear the good. Like, well, hey, you guys passed this a couple years ago, and it has really helped me out a lot. And like I said, it's a moving needle. Things have to be addressed and tweaked every so often, and so they need to hear about the good, the bad, and the in-between. So I think that can really help the membership as a whole.
Right. And I tend to believe that politics at this level, at the more local level, I can have a say in and really affect more of a change. And for business owners, that's really important. They need to know that the legislators are looking out for business, or they need to know we're having trouble doing business in this area. So that FaceTime, like you said, is vital to them. And we really want more people to take advantage of it. We'd love to have these events be standing room only. We'd really like to raise everyone's awareness in the process and understand that these gentlemen do want to hear from you. And what they have to say is interesting. It really is. If you just open your mind a little and think about what they're saying.
Yes, certainly.
So please check out our website, joplincc.com, and we'll keep you up to date on when Eggs and Issues are happening. Like Jake said, they happen usually during the springtime. It's a brunch. It's a very low-cost event, and Chamber members are welcome to attend. If you're not a member, give us a call, and we'd be happy to have you come as our guests just to see what it's all about. This is a huge benefit that we offer our members, and so if you're not a member, this would be a great way to see what Chamber membership offers you. Jake, I want to now talk a little bit about young professionals and political awareness, and why, as a group, the Young Professionals Network really would like to promote political awareness, and how the network's doing that, things like that.
Certainly. The Young Professionals Network became involved in some aspects of political awareness a couple of years ago as a way to get the young professionals involved in this. We see a lot of young folks that appear to be very apathetic. Just, as you mentioned earlier about chamber membership's kind of young, like, I don't really have time for that. Well, and some folks may not have the desire to get involved in the political process. And I completely understand that. But government, whether you like it or not, impacts everyone's life, one way or the other. So if we don't want to call it political awareness, we need to call it government awareness. Be aware of what's going on in your government, local, state, federal. Just be apprised of what's going on. And so we started as a way to clue in the Young Professionals Network membership with a small column each month dedicated to what's going on locally, state, and federal, just to give them an overall view of just a few of the things that are happening, to just make them aware. We weren't asking for participation. We just wanted to make them aware of things that are going on in the community, in the state, and in the federal government.
That column's in the Young Professionals newsletter and also in the Chamber newsletter. I'll point out that it's written in very easy to understand, plain terms, so I think that makes it a well-read piece.
Yes,
so.
It does. We try to steer away from anything political or partisan, because we find that that's what generally turns people off.
Right.
They don't want to hear, well, he said, she said, I've got an R behind my name, I've got a D behind my name. That can typically just turn people off from the beginning, so we just want to let them know what is happening. These are the issues that face the business community, that affect young professionals, that affect everyone. So we want you to be aware. Form your own opinions. These, whether or not the chamber endorses this or has endorsed it or whatever, it's just a way to let them know what's going on in government, not necessarily what's going on in politics, because as we all know, those can be two different things. Right. And we don't want to blur those lines. And that's typically what we try to do with Eggs and Issues too, is they try to stay away from more politically charged items, but sometimes they find their way in. But ultimately, this is what's happening in government right now, but politics ultimately plays a role when you're trying to pass or stop legislation. And that can be the part that really turns people off, because they see a proposal that they really like, that they think could truly benefit the community or their business or whatever else, and to find it gets scuttled at the last minute because of politics, that can truly just rub someone the wrong way and leave a bad taste in their mouth. And that's what we try to get away from. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We certainly would like to encourage young professionals to take a role in governmental affairs and be involved and be informed, like Jake said. That's sometimes a little bit harder to get people involved with it, but we certainly try. We certainly encourage our members to do that. The network got very involved in a political campaign recently, on an issues campaign.
Yes, they did. There was a work group created within the Young Professionals Network, and the work group is called Recycle Joplin. They got behind the curbside recycling issue. That was
the city of Joplin.
With the city of Joplin, their role primarily was education, and they advocated for this petition. They did so in front of city council. They did so at multiple civic clubs, and they did fall short of the goal of passing. That particular initiative did not bind anyone to anything. That's just the way it had to be done in accordance with ordinance, with city ordinance. But the young professionals came together, and that's a lot of times how you get people involved, young or old, is you present them a cause that you know they're passionate about.
Right. You have to find their passion.
And yeah, they find their passion and they run with it. They get behind it. They truly believe in it, and they find themselves getting involved for a good cause. And because that issue was lost at the polls does not mean it goes away.
Right.
It's something that the Young Professionals Network will continue to advocate and educate, but that's where we are at this point. And I will say that work group has the largest membership of any work group we have. We found a lot of people within the community, a lot of young professionals that have a real passion for what Recycle Joplin is trying to accomplish. And that issue will continue to stay with us as long as we're around.
And like you said, it did fall short in the polls, but I think they definitely raised awareness of the need and the importance. And I know sometimes we joke about the young professionals and the old professionals, but I did hear definitely some people were surprised to learn some of the information that they shared. So
certainly, yes, a lot of our seasoned professionals, if you will,
much better.
really took notice of the young professionals that were involved with Recycle Joplin, because they took that cause and ran with it, and they outperformed beyond expectation. They really did a lot of groundwork. They were in charge of all of the entire grassroots operation of it all. You know, from op-eds to fundraising, to civic outreach. They did so much work, and they did it with a smile on their face the whole time, even in the face of the loss. They were still very upbeat, and we're very happy of what we accomplished, because before that election, it wasn't known to nearly enough people what was trying to be accomplished, and now everyone knows about it, everyone remembers it, and we'll see what happens with the issue as we move forward. Right. City Council, I think, will have that opportunity to address that issue in the years to come, and Young Professionals Network, and more importantly, Recycle Joplin Work Group, will be there when those decisions are made.
And as a chamber, Young Professionals is a part of a chamber, we don't support or endorse candidates, but we do occasionally support or endorse issues, which is what happened in this case. I imagine that we will keep our eye out for other issues that the Young Professionals might want to help get on board with as we go forward. I'm not aware of anything coming up in coming elections that will require our assistance, but that is a function of the chamber as well. We do try and advocate for and educate about certain issues. I find that difficult at times with some people. It's hard to really get across the importance of some of those things that we're trying to share. We don't always think that a road matters to us, or how your trash gets picked up, or who's on the school board, but it's all very, very important information, and we definitely want to try and make that a little easier to digest and bring some more people into it. So
absolutely.
The network have any other plans coming up that you're aware of?
Well, we will have our executive committee retreat in April, and we will reorganize a little bit and kind of figure out. We'll have 2 new members coming onto the executive committee. So we've pared down over the last year the number of work groups we had and consolidated in an effort to better utilize our resources and our manpower. So we're going to really look at what we're doing and how we're doing it, and just kind of capitalize on that efficiency and orient our new members in in a better way. And we'll just have to see. There's more on the horizon for what we're trying to do. Everybody within the network membership has a different priority or something. You know, everyone, well, I want to be here for networking. I want more professional development. So we're reaching out to our members through surveys to figure out what everybody wants. So hopefully we can, throughout the year, have a certain number of events that cater to everyone's priorities, so we can basically help them utilize their membership is what we want.
Right.
You know, as the Chamber's fond of saying, you get out of it what you put into it.
That's right.
So we want to offer what our members want. And so that's hence the reorganization over the last couple of years. And we, you know, like I mentioned with Recycle Joplin, the passion and just the sheer numbers of people that turned out for that showed us that we've got something here. We were able to engage a lot of people, and just our Ed Talks have brought out a very large following. I've only been able to attend one, but it was great, the one that I did, and I hear that the attendance just keeps going up.
What are Ed Talks?
Ed Talks are sponsored by one of our work groups. It's based off the theory, well, not the theory, but it's based off of the TED Talks. So what we do is we bring in an influential member of the community. Most recently, they had one with Brad Belk,
Right.
and he
Joplin
gave a
historian.
history. Yeah, he gave a history of Joplin. I was not able to attend that due to a previous work commitment, but that work group felt that having Brad speak to them would be truly beneficial to our membership. A bunch of young professionals, maybe not all of them have grown up in this area, so we felt it would be good for them to understand the history of this area and how it came from here, you know, how it got to where it is today. Even without, you know, May 22nd of 2011, even without all that, and even including some of that, how Joplin got to where it is today. And I think it was very impactful to those that attended. And we have more planned. I think Paula Baker from Freeman is going to be at one. We've had Gary Pulsifer from Mercy speak at one, Dr. Huff. So they continue to get some very good speakers, and the attendance seems to be very good.
And that's great access for our young professionals. I certainly didn't get to sit across the table with the CEO of the hospital when I was 20-some years old. So that's great access to give to our young professionals. The seasoned professionals love to do the talks. I've been to a few of them, and you learn a little bit when you go, even if you have been here or been on the workforce for a long time in Joplin. So that is a great benefit that we try and offer the young professionals. We talk a lot about young professionals here on this program because we're at Missouri Southern State University, and we hope that the students coming out of the university, as they start their professional careers, will look at the Young Professionals Network and join the network. We certainly want you to be chamber members as well, but the network can be your first step into chamber membership. So you'll be finishing the Young Professionals year out here in a few months, and you have a big celebration every year to do that with. You'll name some winners and things like that. We
will. Our special events work group is currently in the planning stages of our annual celebration right now. We spoke briefly about it at our last meeting. We should get some more updates later this month when we have our next executive committee meeting. But we will hand out awards for YPN of the Year, service hours, and just to recognize those members that have gone the extra mile. We'll also recognize all members of the executive committee, and we'll have, I'm sure, some sort of a video presentation to kind of that captures what happened in the last year. But that's something, you know, special events too, I will say, has a very large membership as well. Some folks within the YPN really like to help plan events, you know, want to be involved in one way, shape, or form. And I also want to stress that to any potential young professionals out there is that I would bet we have one work group that you would fall into. So come check us out, you know, with special events, Recycle Joplin, professional development, social mixers. We have something for everybody. Right. So come out and give us a look, and we'll try our best to help maximize your membership. We certainly have tried in the 6 years, I think, that the network's been in existence to grow it and respond to the needs of the young professionals. And the young professionals certainly get notice from the rest of the chamber membership. So it's a great program. You can find YPN, the Young Professionals Network, on our website at joplincc.com. You can look them up on Facebook or Twitter as well at
Joplin YPN for Twitter and Facebook, and stay connected with the network that way as well. So just to wrap up everything we talked about today, we spent a long time on eggs and issues. We're coming into the eggs and issues season, and we invite you, Chamber members, to please take part in those eggs and issues legislative brunches. Like Jake said, give you great access to our local lawmakers, let you hear what's going on in the community, what's happening in Jefferson City, and really give you an opportunity to ask those questions. Maybe you don't understand how that affects your business. This is the time to ask. You can talk directly to those gentlemen and get some answers. Let them know what you need to make your business successful. You can find the full schedule of eggs and issues at joplincc.com. If you're a chamber member, you're welcome to attend. If you're not a member, please give us a call and we'll be happy to have you be our guest at Eggs and Issues. Jake then wrapped up with a little bit about the Young Professionals Network and their political awareness activities, governmental awareness activities. And Jake would certainly invite anyone to take part in any YPN event, to encourage prospective members to come at any time.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned about our Ed Talks, those are free for YPN members and $5 for non-members. As you know, if you would just want to come check it out, maybe not pay the full membership fee, but maybe, just see what it's all about. All that information is available on the Joplin Chamber and the YPN websites and Facebook feeds. So check it out. All you have to do is RSVP. We'd love to have you.
Right. RSVP, please. RSVP. It's a lost art. That about wraps it up for today's edition of Chamber Chat. We hope that you found this information helpful and useful to your business. As always, we encourage businesses to look at the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce, look at our benefits that we can offer your business, and please consider membership as an investment in your business. You can find us at joplincc.com, or you can look us up on Facebook at joplinchamber.com, or give us a call. We still pick up the phone at 417-624-4150. Until next time, we'll see you on Chamber Chat.